Hello folks, Reverend Crystal Cox here, and I want to talk to you today about something that's pretty serious. I hope that you in Port Townsend will share this video. Now, back in my day, we used to say, don't shoot the messenger, right? I first learned about it when I was a kid. So I was witnessing abuse in my family, and I would try to tell adults around me, and they would silence me. I would get in trouble. I would get in trouble for telling the truth. I tried to talk to people about abuse that I was experiencing, and I got in trouble. Fast forward decades, and I started exposing corruption. And every time I would expose something, I would get in trouble. My websites would be shut down. My businesses would be shut down. I would be investigated. I would get some sort of fine. I would lose my rights and my content, my business. Now, in coming to Port Townsend, I have reported on corruption quite often, and every single time I've gotten in trouble for it. When I stood up for Michael Almain, the whole town came at me. People threatened me. Okay, my stuff got removed online. I just stood up for a stranger. The police harassed me. I was living in my car at the time. They started harassing me. They threatened to impound my car. So, through the Jaman investigations and what I found in public records and what people have told me, I've reported the truth to the Port Townsend police, to the Coast Guard, to the bar complaints, the judge complaints. And every time I have reached out to the Jefferson County officials to report a crime with proof and with witnesses, they investigated me. They came after the messenger. I was in a documentary one time back in the day, and I used to say, I didn't create what was happening in the room. Bad things were happening in the room for decades, and I just turned the light on, right? And then when I did my investigative blogging, I would take, like say there's a giant mountain of paper, and I take the bottom one out and I make it searchable online. I didn't put it online. I'm just talking about it. So in Port Townsend, when I blow the whistle, when I share public records, when I tell the truth, and as a mandatory reporter when I tell the truth, I'm investigated. I've got protective orders against me. I've got criminal charges sent to the prosecutor. I've got the prosecutor trying to arrest me, trying to silence me. I've got the judge that wants to get me in contempt of court for posting court hearings. Okay? So I'm the messenger, and they want to investigate and charge me. Okay? It's happened my whole life. I'm going to tell you here in the next video, coming up here sometime, about my experience with Jenny Ellison in Port Townsend, a local gal that I met through my investigations of everything that was happening at the Julie Jaman press conference. I found out in public records that Libby Wennstrom's crew and team was there. I found other public records of people that worked for Libby Wennstrom who had provided city council and others with body armor and guns. So I was investigating it. That's how I come across Jenny. I'm going to share my experience with Jenny Ellison. This court hearing I'm going to tell you about now is related to that. I have about 8 protective orders against me, so I'm going to be vague. Okay, so last winter, I had some whistleblowers within Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit organization contact me and ask me to do interviews because they wanted to expose what had happened to Braith Miller's boat, Touchstone, that was sank. They wanted to expose things that was happening within Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit. They wanted to give a voice. Well, one of the whistleblowers said, I made an agreement that I would not post the interview until Jenny Ellison was dragged into court for any reason. So last February, Jenny Ellison went to court. I brought her to court because she called me one night and she was really upset. Now, I'm not disclosing things the public don't know. It's already out there. Jenny Ellison has a bona fide mental health issue. She is legally a vulnerable adult. The Port Townsend courts, not doctors, have ruled that she isn't. We'll get into that another time. She was experiencing something traumatic, and I encouraged her to call 911, and she was frozen in fear for various reasons. Whether she called 911 in the past or any other time is irrelevant. That night, I decided, as a victim's advocate, as a spiritual advisor, as someone who cares, as a mandatory reporter, that I wasn't going to take any chances with her life. I don't know what's going on. I'd only met her the one time. She was one of the whistleblowers that come over that night. Only time I'd met her. I wasn't going to mess around. I don't know if she's telling the truth. I don't know if she's in danger. I don't know if this man's coming to kill her right now, or the other man that said that the other man's coming to kill her. I don't know what's going on. So I called 911 to do the right thing so that the police could go and see what's going on. So I did. Now, 911 asked me if Jenny had a protective order against any of the parties that I was talking about. And I said, no, she doesn't. And then they said, well, you could get one for her as a victim's advocate. And in my victim's advocacy I've done for decades, I expose the bad guys online. I drum up investigation and drum up things for discovery and lawsuits, and that's how I give victims a voice. Even though the Port Townsend courts say what I do has no lawful purpose and it's just harassment and it's illegal, but they won't charge me in a criminal court. They just say it's illegal in a civil court, right? And then they give everybody protective orders against me. I've lost the plot here. Anyway, so I had never got a protective order for someone else. That wasn't part of the thing I did with my nonprofit. And so I said, oh, well, how do I go about doing that for someone else? So the 911 dispatch explained it to me. And then I was also contacted by a detective who explained that, yes, here's how you do protective order stuff. So my intentions was just to help Jenny. I didn't know what was going on. I knew the name of the man that lived with her, so I put him in the protective order to protect her. I didn't know he was a landlord, didn't know he owned the property, didn't know his connection to anything. I just knew his first name, put it in there. Well, that brought a lot down on me as well. So, one of the interviewers that night said to me in the interview that people associated with Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit he was talking about. He wasn't talking about who the courts are pretending he was talking about. He was talking about pretty much everybody associated with Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit, right? Which is about a dozen people, okay, men and women. He said, he was telling the story of everything that happened. He's a bona fide whistleblower. He reported on all this stuff. Commissioner Pro Tem Judge Lorraine Remsen had me remove the YouTube interview. It was in actual official investigation. It was linked as evidence. She removed that evidence. She tampered with that witness. She tampered with that evidence by having me remove it online. And the other party even put a transcript, okay, incriminating people of Libby Wennstrom herself and people of her nonprofit. Okay, all went away because Pro Tem Judge Remsen gave them all protective orders to remove the content online and protect Libby Wennstrom. Okay, so what I'm about to tell you is pretty much the poster perfect of shooting the messenger, persecuting the messenger, okay? Criminalizing the messenger and absolutely ignoring the message. Criminalizing the person who says, hey, this guy is dangerous. This guy is going to harm this person, this person, this person. Here's 100 pages of evidence proving what he's done and what he can do. And the court's saying, you, Crystal, are the one who's the criminal. You're the one that's violated the law and unlawfully harassed others. You did it. Okay, so one of the interviewers said about Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit, said, well, and this isn't verbatim, and this is just my story, okay? I'm going to do federal investigation reports on it. I'm going to do court documents on this because this is absolutely disturbing. So one of the gentlemen said, no one from Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit, you know, he named it differently, but he said, has done anything stupid enough to end up in a body bag. But if they come to my house, that's going to be a different story. Okay? Something like that. So he wasn't threatening to kill anybody. He wasn't threatening to put anybody in a body bag. That was just his lingo. But it was alarming and creepy, right? And I nervous laughed. Never had the man in my house before. Never seen him after. He did message me a couple times after. But I did a nervous laugh. Well, Libby's nonprofit people made that sound like that I was, supporting offing them, right? So they got protective orders against me. So, that's what the guy said. So, I, fast forward, okay, so that was the interview, and then like 2 months after the interview is when Ginny called me, and she was, having a panic attack, having a meltdown, and I was being responsible, and I called the authorities, because I didn't know the parties, I didn't know what was going on, I called the police. I was being responsible and telling the truth, okay? So when they suggested I get a protective order, I thought, okay, well, okay. In hindsight, woo! Probably shouldn't have done that. But I thought I was doing the right thing. So I went to the courthouse and I got a protective order against the people that she was afraid of. And so in those filings, I provided hundreds of pages of proof of what the parties had said to Ginny and done to Ginny, and how they had left her for dead, and how they were harassing her and going after her and after her and after her. And went to a court hearing. I guess I am going to do a little bit more detail than this. So I went to a court hearing about it, and all of Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit came to intimidate Ginny, because Ginny knows things about them. They came to stick up for the other people, okay? Now, there was incident reports, there's history of domestic violence, but APS doesn't care, social services don't care, the police don't care, the judges don't care, all they care about is politics. Okay, so we're at the hearing, and then with Commissioner Forbes, and she decides to wait 2 weeks because I had introduced a whole bunch more evidence on all of the bad things that the guys did to her, and I'm just standing up for her. Well, in that 2 weeks' time, I got 8 protective orders against me from all of the people in Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit. Not her, because, she's a public figure. She has other people do her work for her. Okay, so then we went to court. Again, I'm going to talk this detail another time. But so what I put on the docket with these protective orders was showing, so Commissioner Forbes, okay, and I've also Judge Walker, and also Commissioner Pro Tem Judge Lorraine Rimson. I gave them information to show them how dangerous this man was, and how Ginny was in danger of this man. Okay, I showed them the proof. I gave them a link to the interview. The other parties even gave a transcript to the interview. The courts knew how dangerous this individual was. Okay, so in Walker's court, one of the parties said that I was condoning putting the people of Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit into a body bag. So in other words, like, I had death threatened them somehow because I interviewed someone that made a comment that I didn't control. Because I sounded the alarm to the courts and the public, I was somehow condoning or wanting harm to come to them. Not true in any way. But when it was said in court, and I have the transcript of this, and I have the hearing video.
Please rise. Jefferson County District Court is back in session.
I would like the court to address what he is saying about that video. I did interview with Sailors Rescue Whistleblowers, and 3 people came to my house. Jimmy Ellen, to discuss the touchstone rescue of a boat that he sank. Billy said his boat, and I wanted to get their testimony. I never met him. He's 6'4". He did say that, and I apologized.
Anything else, Ms. Cox?
I said, Judge Walker, this is serious. The man said this. And I think that Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit, that these people are in danger. He's a dangerous man. And this should be taken seriously. I said this to her. She completely ignored it. Okay? So, that's where we're at with the body bag story. Okay? So, Judge Walker gives a protective order, against me to these men. Judge Walker gave protective orders against Jenny Ellison from other men within Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit and around it. Pro Tem Judge Lorraine Remsen gave the individual that I'd warned them how violent he was, the one that made the body bag comment, that I let the court know how dangerous he was. And I said, hey, Judge Walker, he's dangerous. Like, look at this right here. I mean, I can prove this on the transcript and in the video of the hearing. I warned them. It's all on the docket. Remsen knows. Commissioner Forbes knows. Okay, it's all right there. So what they did is they threw out the protective orders protecting Jenny Ellison, someone who has mental health issues, a woman, a vulnerable adult. They said she's not a vulnerable adult and I can't speak for her, okay? She still had, even if they didn't believe that, which is a total lie. I showed them the law, I showed them the proof. And even if they didn't believe that, she has mental health issues. And I showed them all the proof. But they were hell-bent on protecting Libby Wennstrom. So they denied Jenny Ellison protection from this individual that was highly dangerous that had made the body bag comment. Okay? And they gave the individual a protective order against me, who was fighting to help this woman I'd never met. And these demons gave a protective order against Jenny Ellison in favor of the individual. So the individual that made the body bag comment, he got protective orders against me and Jenny. Then he continued to stalk her, message her, go to her property, get her evicted, harass her, and the courts did nothing. The police do nothing. Okay? She's the victim of domestic violence. She has no tenant rights, no victim's rights. Okay? None. Attorneys are screwing her over. The Adult Protective Service is screwing her over. The cops, everybody's just ignoring it because they're protecting politics. Okay? So the man, the individual, I'm calling him individual for a reason here, we'll get to that, that's made the body bag comment that I put, that was in the interview, and that the individual put on the docket in a transcript. So all of these judges seen this transcript. Okay? All of these judges seen it on the docket. They seen, I said it, I talked about it, I warned them of the danger of this guy. I warned Walker the danger of this guy, right? I'm sounding the alarm. And to them, that's me condoning the man threatening to put them in body bags, which he was actually just kind of threatening to defend himself if they came to him. He just worded it kind of brass. I didn't take it as he was threatening to kill them. I took it as he was saying, hey, if they try to come over here and put her in a body bag, tough guy talk. That's what I took it as. But I still was uncomfortable with him, and I nervous laughed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, okay. So do you got that? That whole story? I just want to sum it up again. The individual that made the comment about putting Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit people into a body bag, I was at a court hearing where I told Judge Walker, this man is dangerous. It's on the transcript. I told Remsen. I told Commissioner Forbes. It's all there, okay? All right. So I wanted to appeal to the Washington State Appeals Board all of these protective orders. But I took it to the people in my nonprofit board, and they said, look, we can't afford 3. You have to pick one. There was 3 that multiplied out to 8. So I picked the one that was the most important to the Julie Jaman case and appealed that. Because I was denied the right to go to the Maritime Center or speak it. I was denied the right to talk about the wooden boat school or go to it. I was denied the right to say the word Salish Rescue. So I appealed. And I've now won the right to say those 3 things and to go to those locations in the appeal. The appeal ruling from Judge Brandon Mack came in yesterday. Again, I'm going to be filing stuff on this. But it is the absolute most horrific example of shoot the messenger, investigate the messenger, go after the messenger that I have ever seen. All right? So Judge Mack, to his credit, he said that it's against state and federal law for the petitioner to include Salish Rescue, to include the Maritime Center, to include these other places, which is what I was saying. I said I had a right as a taxpayer to go to these places. Libby Wennstrom is the president of Salish Rescue. I have a right to talk about it. And so I won that right. Now, the other people involved kept their protective order against me. Okay, 2 of them were claimed to be in the same household. They're not. The public records, they're not. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking to them. So police, don't be like arresting me, okay? So the most important thing here, the most absolutely disturbing thing, and I hope you share this video with everybody you know. Judge Mack said, I was guilty of unlawful harassment. If I'm guilty of unlawful harassment, why don't I get a public defender? Why don't I get to adjudicate the crimes that I'm accused of? I was accused of alleging unsubstantiated facts of crimes that I alleged that these people did. Right? I didn't get to adjudicate whether I had the facts or not. It was ruled in court, I don't have no facts, and it's unsubstantiated. It was ruled that I have unlawfully harassed them, and I am guilty of unlawful harassment. Where I had proof. I had people that told me. I had audios. I had texts. I had other people that told me it, okay? The other thing, I'm guilty of unlawful harassment because Judge Mack said this. He said, I posted an interview. So I did an interview of a whistleblower, their words, and Judge Mack said, I posted a video where the individual said that he was going to put members of Salish Rescue in body bags, and that the petitioner was one of those members. First of all, the petitioner was not even in the conversation. It was not about him at all. The interviewer was not even talking about him. It was another 12 people associated with Libby Wennstrom. Judge Mack said, I posted that interview, the one that Remsen's made me remove, and that in me posting that interview, where the man said he was going to put him in body bags, I was endorsing him putting them in body bags. I was endorsing this individual to kill the people of Salish Rescue and put them in body bags because I posted an interview of someone else saying what they said about the body bags. Right? Heartbreaking is beyond belief. This man, this individual that Judge Mack's talking about, has a protective order against me. Yeah, he's fucking dangerous. He has a protective order against Ginny Ellison, who's 5'4", and he's 6'4". Thank you, Judge Remsen. Judge Walker gave them protective orders against Ginny. This woman standing alone as a whistleblower who knows crimes of a public official. And she has been evicted. She's been nearly killed. She's been hospitalized. All her victims' rights, domestic violence rights, all stripped from her because she knows about the dirty deeds of Port Townsend. And this Judge Mack says, I was endorsing death upon Salish Rescue to put him in body bags because I posted an interview sounding the alarm going, hello, police, world, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, everybody, this man's dangerous, help Jenny. I told the courts I filed a criminal complaint about it, and then I sent a notice, and Judge Remsen saw it. It was on the docket. I sent a notice of my criminal complaint, warning the public about this man and how in danger Jenny was in danger. So now, they all get to keep their public record against me because I'm the messenger. This guy not been investigated. The individual, he's got protective orders against Jenny, keeps harassing her. The individual's free to do what he wants. The individual has a protective order against me. He's constantly harassing Jenny. The courts didn't say nothing about the man who said it. But because I sounded the alarm, I have endorsed putting Salish Rescue in body bags. Now, I have been investigative blogging for decades. And now I do victims advocacy. That is the most heinous thing that has ever been said about me. That every time in Port Townsend when I tell about a crime, I'm investigated. I sound the whistle, help Jenny Ellison. Oh my God, this individual's going to hurt her. Then all of Salish Rescue gets protective orders against me, the messenger, and the fucking Port Townsend courts say, yep, protect them. Don't protect Jenny, and we don't care about Crystal, and we don't care about what she says. But you know what? She has committed a crime because she posted an interview of someone else saying it. She's committed a crime because she's filed protective orders and said this guy said it. Okay? It's right there in the hearing. I have all the hearing videos. Okay, and I have a transcript from the one from Walker's case. Judge Brandon Mack saw the transcript. It says right there in the transcript where I'm like, Judge Walker, yes, I agree. The petitioner's right. Salish Rescue's in danger. This man is dangerous. Please do something. Okay? I sound the alarm to every one of these judges, all of the police, all of the detectives, all the community, and now I'm convicted in the court of public protective orders where they commit you crimes, but you can't adjudicate the crimes, and you don't get a public defender. Okay? Judge Mack said I'm guilty of unlawful harassment, and for an unlawful purpose. It's not unlawful purpose. First of all, I drum up evidence. Secondly, I'm helping victims. I'm sounding the alarm. I'm sounding the alarm about this dangerous individual. So I'm the bad guy, but the dangerous individual, we don't care about him. We only care about you, Crystal. Now, I'm going to be filing things in the court, and I'm going to do what I can to fight back on this. But it's the most heinous thing that has ever been said, and I've been doing this for decades and horrible things. For him to say that I was condoning, he said I endorsed it. It was an endorsement of putting the men of Salish Rescue in body bags because I posted an interview warning the public that this man was a danger and saying it. I put it on the docket with Remsen, Commissioner Forbes, Walker, the Port Townsend Police, the Jefferson County Sheriff, the detective. I told them all about this individual. And now Judge Mack says, I've committed a crime and I've unlawfully harassed the people of Salish Rescue because I posted an interview about someone else talking about the body bags, which we've just went over. I'm the messenger. I'm guilty of a crime. But the person who said it gets protective orders against us. Big old tall man, we're the ones in danger. Salish Rescue's in danger, but I'm the one punished. Please share this. This is how the Jefferson County courts work. The most absolutely disturbing thing, and I hope you share this video with everybody you know. Judge Mack said, I was guilty of unlawful harassment. The other thing, I'm guilty of unlawful harassment because Judge Mack said this. He said, I posted an interview. So I did an interview of a whistleblower, their words, and Judge Mack said, I posted a video where the individual said that he was going to put members of Salish Rescue in body bags. Judge Mack said, I posted that interview, the one that Remsen's made me remove, and that in me posting that interview, where the man said he was going to put him in body bags, I was endorsing him putting them in body bags. Judge Mack said, I posted that interview, the one that Remsen's made me remove, and that in me posting that interview, where the man said he was going to put him in body bags, I was endorsing him putting them in body bags. I was endorsing this individual to kill the people of Salish Rescue and put them in body bags because I posted an interview of someone else saying what they said about the body bags. Right?